Hi, I'm Foxpresso and I hope you've been enjoying these videos. I know how I mentioned in the last video the ability to save money at cons by helping out while making that script. That video's evolved to the point where I need to split it from this series and onto its own thing. So I figured, why don't we just wrap things up? But first, it's comment time.
Polnick said, "Fantastic series. Excellent info to help everyone. It takes a lot of time to build this knowledge, and this accelerates everyone's capability to plan and action cons. I wish I knew this before starting cons. It would have saved a lot of time and frustration."
Honestly, I'm happy to hear this. It means a lot to know that what I make is proving to be helpful. So thanks, dude.
Salsas said, "Really appreciate the care you take in breaking down all the costs and expectations."
Glad to be of help.
Yorick said, "These hotel videos are very informative. Truth being is that, like I said before, I tend to go the way of renting Airbnb and will go the way of hotels if the hotel is cheaper. Usually I am alone in the rental and I don't have to worry about the logistics of having roommates. The only times I have to have roommates in a hotel, if we do go for one, is if I'm attending a family event. In this case, I'll make sure to book a hotel suite so that we will all have privacy. There are a couple of times when I book a hotel with more than one bed and have to find out that those beds are in one cramped room with no privacy of whatsoever. Yeah, lesson learned. Now I always make sure it is a suite with separate rooms. This was a great video packed with lots of info and tips. Love your channel and content. Keep up the great job."
Whatever works for you. However, given that suites are priced a little higher than the rooms, if you value privacy, it may be better to book 2 conjoining rooms than a suite. So, I know I glazed over foods back in the first episode since I felt there wasn't really much to chew on besides setting a budget. While there isn't enough of a smorgasbord to fill a full course episode, I do have a few bites to dish out to you. The initial budget I laid out for food, around $210 with $15 for breakfast, $20 for lunch, $35 for dinner, or $70 a day, Friday to Sunday, assumes you'll be eating exclusively at the hotel. Now, the reason I say this is because most con hotels are either in business parks or by the airport, basically where outside food isn't easily accessible. As a result, your main options are either catering done in the convention hall, which is usually limited to fast food and sandwiches of mixed quality, a hotel Starbucks of limited hours, or a hotel restaurant of limited hours and inflated prices. You're basically a captive audience here. They can charge whatever they want. There are exceptions to this. Of course, BLFC, for example, while largely isolated due to the resort hotel being in an island in a sea of parking lot, has a variety of dining options for any budget, from affordable pizzas, sandwiches, pizza and sandwiches, to higher-end steak houses and various cuisines. The discounted at-con catering is also of higher quality based on experience with other cons, and one can also brave the parking lot and do additional shopping for groceries and supplies at Walmart. This brings me to the next bit. Some conventions may actually link a list of nearby eateries within walking or driving distance. If you're taking transit or if parking is a hassle, do look at Google Maps and see what's available within a 5 to 10 minute walk. Otherwise, if you drove or with someone who did and parking is not limited, look at places within driving distance. This will open up more options for you within a smaller budget, much wider palette, or if you have dietary concerns, conventions located within major urban areas like Further Confusion, Anthrocon, and Furry Migration are a goldmine for affordable food variety. Of course, even then, there's more you can do to cut food costs to the bare minimum. If the con is close to a market or a big box store, you can stock up on snacks and shelf-stable foods to last you through the weekend. I shouldn't need to explain what shelf-stable means, but basically it's items that don't need to be refrigerated in order to be safe to eat. Peanut butter sandwiches, instant noodles, and the like. The reason why I emphasize shelf-stable is that not every hotel may have a fridge or microwave. Honestly, never bet on the microwave. So you have to account for that. If there is a fridge, then you can add in meats, cheeses, and healthier options like veggies and salads to the mix. Of course, this is the most effective if you have driven to a con. I mean, you can check a bag of food, but they may not be a good idea. But anyways, in terms of figuring out food for cons, do your research and pick what works best for you.
Hi everyone, my name is Erin Kitsune, or Erin Wolf Kitsune. I've been in the fandom for almost 10 years now. I've been suiting for about 8 of those years. I have been to many cons.
Okay, so I have been to a lot of furry cons in my life. I have been to 10 of them actually, to be exact.
Hey there, Fluffaroonies. It's Lerks here from RL Furry Productions, and I have been to 24 furry conventions.
Things that I wish I knew when I first started in here. Well, first of all, find local groups on Telegram, on Discord, something. So that way you can be part of your local community.
So some advice I would give before going to a furry con, and I wish I knew this before I went to a furry con, was don't go alone.
I wish I knew before my first convention that, especially if you were an introvert like many of us in the fandom are, if you go to a convention where you don't know anyone and don't have anyone to hang out with, you're probably not going to have a good time. You should always try to go to conventions where you know you're going to have friends there and you know those friends are going to want to hang out with you.
Another thing that would be important is stay hydrated and stay cool. Yes, it is fun to start fursuiting immediately and stay in as long as you can. The reality is that you need to pace yourself and build up to an endurance tolerance. I have a tolerance of like 11, 12 hours straight, but it took me a while to actually get to that point, and let me tell you, there's some bad nights trying to figure out how to get to that level.
Go with people you know to cons. That's what I do now.
Like I always say, it's better to go to a convention across the country where you have friends than to go to a convention across the street where you don't know anyone.
Like if you travel a lot to go to places, yes, get yourself like global entry or something so that way you can bypass TSA lines. Also get really good at packing and price checking every single airline if you have to fly, because let me tell you, you may see a price, but you have to factor in baggage fees as well before you actually go.
Definitely go with friends.
So make plans early, get your friends together locally or online, and go to cons together. That's my best advice.
Yeah, basically go to local events. That's the first go-to. Find local events in your area and try to go to them, because then you can meet people, you can make connections, because let me tell you, you can make a lot of connections with furry. Anyways, meow.
That's my advice, but definitely furry cons are fun. They're great, they're awesome. Definitely recommend, yes.
So make plans early, get your friends together locally or online, and go to cons together. That's my best advice.
I've been doing furry conventions since 2010 and built up experiences on what, to me, works for a good con experience. Here's what I've learned. Number 1, go with people you know. Conventions are highly social. They can also be pretty large and daunting. Because of this, try to go with some friends so you always have a circle to go back to and hang out with. It makes the weekend more fun and memorable. As I mentioned in the last episode, using Telegram groups or Meetup for fur meets is a great way to find and get to know furries before the con. Number 2, larger the convention doesn't necessarily mean a better experience. It's been a myth that thankfully seems to be dying off now that furries are starting to realize otherwise, but there's long been a perception that the larger a con is, the more people you'd see, the better the panels, the better the dealer selections, etc. While yes, you may see a wider selection of artists in the dealer's den, it will become harder to get in touch with anyone except for the people in the room, if even that. So that's also top other issues like poor phone signal, higher competition for rooms, higher competition for dance competitions, panel submissions, longer elevator wait times, etc. If anything, it's best to pick a con based on where your friends are going rather than just on size alone. If you're new to the fandom, pick a medium-sized con closest to you rather than going for Midwest Fur Fest or Anthrocon for your first convention. Number 3, don't overplan, let alone expect to do everything or everyone. This is a common trap I get into year after year, even if I should know better. So my other dorky hobby involves theme parks. And for the longest time, I've had this habit of using the strategy in those parks of maximizing every second of my day to get the best value, also with minimal downtime, also at cons. And honestly, just leads to disappointment and frustration with me being alone in the room while waiting for hours for people to message me back. So honestly, what's the best strategy that I've learned? Just go with the flow. if you want to see panels, go ahead and do that, as well as auditions for the dance comp. And just set time for that. Otherwise, save for travel, food, lodging. You really don't need to pre-plan everything. Just relax, honestly. You'll have a fun time regardless. Number 4, set a budget. Backtracking to the original purpose of this video series, you do need to know if you can actually afford a convention. And I know this isn't a fun thing to do at all, but I do want to reiterate that it's good to know in advance how much you can afford. This is something I've learned hard repeatedly, and I admittedly never really gave much thought beyond a casual eyeball and paying as I went along. This obviously really is not sustainable and has led me nearly stranded a few times, and it honestly is just stressful. Plus, it doesn't look too good anyway. So this year, as part of the series, I've broken down and made a budget sheet for cons I planned this year. Not all of these are set in stone until I booked a flight. In fact, I had to cancel a few cons already because airfare rose dramatically. But honestly, until I made this table, I never really knew how much I actually spent due to separating the flight, hotel, and that con stuff into their own little silos. I've linked a blank version of the sheet in the description below for your own use.
How about you? If you've been to a convention before, what do you wish you knew beforehand that you know now? Please leave a comment below. If you like this, please leave a like, and if you're a newbie, please subscribe. Of course, all things must come to an end, so in the next video, we'll discuss how to deal with the reality of post-con depression. Thank you again for watching this, and I hope to see you at a convention soon. Until next time, yap! For as low as $3 a month, you can get this video or a work in progress cut earlier than everyone else. In addition, you get access to a special Telegram group and have a say in the future of this series. I've gotten good feedback from people within this Telegram group and thank these animals for their support. Extra special thanks to Lufus Raccoon for his generous support as well. You can join the Foxpresso Coffee Club at patreon.com/Foxpresso or donate to my coffee at ko-fi.com/Foxpresso for any one-time amount too.